Judy note, the below QFS update by Charlie Ward says it all. A QFS update, Charlie Ward, and Prime Minister, notes by Cat, Charlie Ward. Q was created April 1, 1860 when 20 generals placed Abraham Lincoln into office to fight the Khazarian Rothschild Mafia who created the slave trade and owned 99% of the U.S. slaves. To this day the battle is coming to an end, Trump. Charlie Ward, but now I found out that all you have to do is put in the book of Q and you will find the lost gospel of Q, the Gospel of Thomas. It's there in B&W. The history of it is there for anybody with an ounce of integrity who's done their own research. Q goes back to Jesus Christ. Q the Storm Rider. Christmas Eve 1963 was the day 77 U.S. generals came together and the plan was born to save the world. 3 months later 133 generals became part of _ Freedom Eagles 35. You are witness to it will remember me and say we should have stopped the nuclear program of Israel, abolished the Federal Reserve, and kicked all secret societies, occultists, usurpers, and Zionists out of our wonderful country to keep it that way, but it is never too late. John F. Kennedy. Simon Parks, all currency test runs done. HSBC will lead the process. Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation, U.S. on full alert for the redemption process. Temple, Texas, not Reno, sets it off. DoD and military is pushing everything out tomorrow, October 29, 2021. Heavy roundup happening of remaining deep state cabal as Nizara is fully installed. United States Navy ready to go. Gold-backed currency locked in. Lots of it, funded. Advanced healing technologies making its rounds. Humanitarians worldwide will be funded. Charlie Ward, 2132 Very simply, what I can tell you is, the quantum financial system was fully operational in August 2020. Well over a year ago. And it's been tested to make sure there's no infiltration from the dark side. It was interfaced with Starlink and Space Force about 4-6 weeks ago to allow it to be able to come into the current banking system as we transition. It will take a couple of years for us to transition fully from one system to another without causing too much damage. 2217 The money will come off the quantum system through Starlink into what's known as a legacy fund. The legacy fund then pays out the paymasters, the megaphiles and the sovereigns. 2236 So far there have been a couple that have already been paid and it has worked perfectly. But what they're doing is they're making sure that there is no contamination, no theft of the money and no money is going missing. And they're not in any hurry. 2300 hours There was supposed to be 25 transfers to megaphiles last week. It didn't happen because there were concerns about the algorithm for detecting fraud. 23:17 They're hoping that this week the algorithm is accurate and picks up on anything that is not right, but they're not in a hurry. They'll make sure they'll get it right and that there is no contamination. What we don't want to do is have contaminated money in the system. 2341 The two main things they're trying to stop. They're two huge businesses which this is all about stopping, putting an end to forever. It overtook it 2 years ago. 347, just before I started on Facebook January 1, 2020 is dissolved but they didn't know it just yet. Operation London Bridge, November 28, 2019, December 5, 2019. D5, Attack on Bridge. Narwhal Tusk. Narwhal Tusk translates to Prince of Wales. Here we are. It's like home and away waiting for the tape to roll out. Was the terror attack on the bridge Operation London Bridge? 7 to 9 day release. 3 separate weapons used. A narwhal tusk equals Prince of Wales December 5, released from hospital. Photos taken looked very much like a body double/CGI in the back of the car. Whiplash 347, your govs, 3-letter intel agencies, elites, Hollywood, Vatican, royals are responsible. All islands, Epstein, Biden, Depp, Winfrey, Nygaard, Branson etc. The sequel to The Fall of the Cabal by Janet C. Bard and Cynthia Coeder. Who is the Cabal? In this God knows how many parts in total series, the Cabal will be fully exposed. This sequel is not about Q, nor Trump. It is about the Cabal. It will give you info that will blow you off your socks. Crime, murder, money laundering, cartels, high treason, all of which under your nose. Part 1 Who is the Cabal? This sequel is not about Q, nor Trump. It is about the Cabal. It will give you info that will blow you off your socks. Crime, murder, money laundering, cartels, high treason, all of which under your nose. Part 2: The Wrath of the Jesuit Council. From Weishaupt and the Creation. Follow their trail of destruction in order to know whom we are dealing with. Part 3: About the Russian. All instigated by the cabal. Through manipulating the stock market, by pushing cabal puppets forward. And by ruthless one goal, and one goal alone. Part 4: The Protocols of Zion. Part 5, about the Georgia Guidestones, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, the UN, and the Peacekeepers. Part 6: About Henry Kissinger, Population Policy, the UN and its many NGOs, the UN Population Fund, Population Control, and Planned Parenthood, and Margaret Sanger. Part 7: About the 5,500 NGOs, connected to the UN, who do so-called charity work. Upon investigating their very own financial papers, we discovered that NGOs are nothing but the perfect business model to launder money, billions of dollars, to avoid paying tax, and to invest in the cabal's main target, depopulation and world dominance. Join us to peel off a few more layers of this onion, to find who the cabal truly is. Part 8: Exposure of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, their so-called philanthropy in India and Africa. One of the most favorite tools of the cabal to roll out the Protocols of Zion and Agenda 21 and 2030. Part 9: Further exposure of Bill Gates, his obsession with genetically modifying everything he can lay his hands on, and his secret ties to the U.S. Army. Also exposing the corruption of Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, current Director General of the WHO. Part 10: Further exposure of Bill Gates, buying shares in companies active in the area of control, manipulation, censorship, multiple visits to Epstein Island and his foolish denial, his investments in Monsanto. Part 11: Further exposure of Bill Gates, being involved in some of the most polluting companies in the world, exposing his money fraud and redefining philanthropy. Synthetic biology, a curse or a blessing? Part 13: Final exposure of Bill Gates, his last evil schemes in the limelights. What does that look like in our daily lives? Disasters, famine, and drought, plagues, and diseases. The true story behind HIV/AIDS and the Spanish flu. Part 15: The Era of Depopulation. About our poison food, water, and care products, about GMOs and family planning. The true story of depopulation. The truth behind chemtrails and electrosmog. Part 17: The Era of Depopulation. The truth be the biggest medical scam of all times.